Hey guys, Xaryu here, and today I'm going to be walking you guys through an RBG video. And let's cut the intro, let's jump into the gameplay. You guys don't want to hear me talk. Well, I guess you kind of want to hear me talk because you're here watching this video, but you guys want to see the gameplay. It's just going to be a very high MMR Warsong Gulch. Both teams here, I think we're around 2,400. Keep in mind, this season just started, so at the end of the season, this would be more like a 2,700 MMR match because MMR inflates as the season goes on. Guys, this is the top RBG scene in North America. These are like the top players both on each team. So very exciting game here. We fought them on a previous map and we actually lost. We fought them on Gilneas and we were actually wiping them in the team fight, but we got ninja'd on, unfortunately. So this is the second game. If you guys want to see other games, I think I might have some more games to post as well. If you guys like the RBG content, be sure to let me know. So I like to play some 2v2. I like to play some 3v3, but I also love to play some RBGs. I like all forms of PvP. My favorite little unknown fact here, my favorite form of PvP is, well, my favorite form might be 1v1s, 1v2s, world PvP, stuff like that. But my favorite form of ranked PvP is actually RBGs. It goes RBGs and then maybe 2v2 and 3v3 from there. So I actually do like the objective-based gameplay that you get from rated battlegrounds over just killing people, essentially team deathmatch, as you get from arena. I love capping a flag, or I love defending a node, ninjaing a node, stuff like that. Okay, so let's hop into this game for the breakdown. I am playing Arcane, not Frost. I would say that Arcane is much better than Frost in an RBG situation. A little unfortunate there that I did have the ice block. My priest could have either come up to me sooner, or I could have cut it back to him sooner. Either way, having used that block there is pretty unfortunate, but right away, my target is the flag carrier from the enemy team, the EFC, as people like to call it. My focus target is the monk, so I can kick him out, I can lock him out, I can CC him with polymorph if I need. And the reason Arcane is so good for RBGs, guys, is the burst from Arcane power presence of mind. I mean, each Arcane blast can hit over 1 million. It's just like 1.1 million, 1.1 million. If you have Zerk, it could even be like 1.3, 1.4 million for each Arcane blast. And then if you get a couple missiles, like an entire missiles off with that Arcane power with Zerk, guess what? You're going to 100-0 solo an FC by yourself. And then the consistent pressure of the Arcane explosions. You have the mobility of Arcane with 4 blinks. It just makes it an all-around okay class for RBGs. Having said that, if you guys are a mage in the chat and you're like, well, nobody ever invites me for RBGs, there's a good reason why. Mages can get focus fired very easily in RBGs, so Arcane mages aren't exactly invited all of the time because, yeah, at very, very high-end RBGs, I don't know if mages are the best. However, you can make them work. So does that make sense? They're not like the greatest RBG class ever, but you can make them work. So here our strategy is whoever is overextending, like this Warlock right here, or this Demon Hunter DJ Pluto, whoever's overextending, we're going to pressure to, either force cooldowns or kill them. And then once we get a couple kills from the overextenders, what we're going to do is then push onto offense, right? So that's kind of our strategy here in this game. People are overextending, we kill them. Once we get a couple kills, we are then going to switch the script, flip the script onto them, and then push for our own offense. Here I'm going to throw out that evocation, get back to full mana, 17 seconds on that arcane power. Once I have that arcane power up, we'll be able to just one-shot this FC, or at least that's the hope. Pushing in now, and we're probably going to do something like Rogue, Arcane Mage, Boomy, and maybe that's it. Rogue, Arcane Mage, Boomy on offense. We might have some more. We might have a healer as well, and maybe our Demon Hunter Juan might come as well. So my FC by Lamos is actually being sapped here, now open on with those cheap shots. So it does get a little bit scary from time to time. DJ Pluto doing a great job slowing us. And I think this isn't necessarily the best offense push. We actually have a lot of people in tunnel below. I thought it was just ABN and I, but so hired hitman is actually ABN the Rogue. I'm playing with Bailamos as well, if you guys missed that. But we actually are pushing up with quite a bit of people, so it's going to be kind of like a race to the finish. Who can live longer? Goomba Stomp, the enemy FC, or Bailamos RFC, and we're going to kind of race them to the finish as long as our healers can keep us up on offense, and as long as Bailamos doesn't die, right? So that's kind of what we're aiming for here. Throw out that mass invisibility. Going to go for a big Mark of Alunith on Goomba Stomp if I can, and this is a little unfortunate. So if you guys look at the positioning, it's Roy Mix, Fallen Ellie, and me and Juan. There's no healers up here, and we're opening up with Nemesis, Mark of Illuminate, Arcane Power, Presence Mind, tons of damage on the FC, but we have no healers up here yet. The only healer I think is the Priest, so the Priest and our Rogue still coming up to the roof, and I'm pretty much just going to get 100 O'd before my Priest can save me, and that's kind of my fault, you know, or that's kind of all of our... That's Juan, Ellie, Fallen Ellie, and my fault for just pushing up there a little bit before our Priest could make it, because we all die before the Priest and the Rogue get there. So I actually just unmuted that for a second, but we were pretty upset there. And then the Priest and the Rogue go up there and probably die anyway. So that was pretty much our entire first offensive push, wasted completely because we were just a little too impatient. So that's a huge misplay on our part, and that's going to definitely hurt us here in this game. So what we learned from that is we want to push with our healer onto offense unless they don't really have much DPS on defense, right? If they only have like one DPS in defense or 0 DPS in defense, we don't need to push with a healer at all, okay? If they have more DPS in defense like they did there, they had like 3 in defense, then we want to wait for our healer to push up, or else we're just going to instantly die like that. So now the game goes back to how we just had it, right? We're going to stay on defense. We're going to try to secure a kill, maybe 2, and then push on offense when, you know, either when my team calls for it or when I think we're safe enough to actually push them again with our DPS. And that's going to be me, the Rogue, maybe a Demon Hunter as well, and maybe a Boomkin as well, so depending on what we want to leave back for defense and what we want to push up for on offense. So right about here, I think my FC is like, I'm fine. You know, we have enough back on D. Let's do another offensive push, and that's probably going to be Boomy. Looks like it's going to be Boomy, Demon Hunter, Arcane Mage, and they don't have much back on defense this time, or at least I don't think. And so when we push in, we should be able to take him out this time, or at least we hope. Our Priest is already on offense too. He's kind of dying there though, and we're just running up tunnel. Oz is doing a great job slowing on the enemy team. Throw out that Mass Invisibility and sheep him, and he doesn't have a trinket for like 1 more second. He does catch that Dispel, and I'm doing my best job to use my Chrono Shift or my Arcane Barrage to get that extra sprint and to slow the enemies, to really try to just run up to the tunnel. I'm trying to kill the FC. I'm not trying to kill Oz. I'm not trying to kill Mist-U. I'm trying to catch up to the enemy flag carrier so I can kill him. So I'm just literally just running past everyone, trying to get as much slows out, those Chrono Shifts out, and get my sprint on to that ceiling. So I throw out that invisibility, but I do get rooted there, unfortunately, from Oz, and trying to just push onto the enemy FC. One thing I do want to note, guys, is that the healer is always on my focus target. That's so I can CC him while we're bursting. I think this is like the #1 mistake I see in low-rated RBGs. People just aren't using focus targets. They're not cross-CCing. They're not CCing the healer or anything like that. They're just doing damage for some reason. But right away, we get that Ray of Hope. We get the Demon Hunter's proc. There's Nemesis. There's the Arcane Power, Presence of Mind, Arcane Explosions. We get the Ret Paladin Sank. We get the Guardian. So much damage coming out here from Gooba Stomp. We're going to channel those missiles. Looks like the missiles are going to take him out. We do get the return, and we do get that first cap. So our second offensive push, much better. We had that Priest, Boomy, Rogue, Demon Hunter, Arcane Mage offense. So much damage coming out from us, and this time we actually waited for our Priest, and it definitely paid off. Now it looks like we are going to kind of try to wipe them here, but we don't really need to. Roy's already dead. It looks like Juan might die soon, so I'm just actually going to run down the other way, try to save my own life, get back onto defense. One thing that I want to note that my Rogue's doing very well is he's already in the graveyard sapping their flag carrier, so they can't get a quick cap because DJ Pluto already has the flag. Okay, they want to toss it off to Goomba Stomp, so my Rogue is sapping Goomba Stomp in the enemy graveyard. Okay, so Lamos is coming up. He's going to grab the flag. My Rogue is slowing slowing Goomba Stomp, so we can't get that toss off with DJ Pluto, and we already know they want to toss it off, right? I don't have an invis for 34 more seconds, or I would have actually popped it here. And I want to intercept this flag drop, right? So I know DJ Pluto wants to drop it to Goomba Stomp. Here he is right here. I do get sapped, and I know they want to do the toss-off right about here. My Rogue's in stealth. I actually trinket the sap and go invis, blink, because I know they want to drop it. And he actually does drop the flag, but I do get Chaos Nova'd unfortunately, and I can't quite get that click off. There was the click right there, and they do get that handoff successfully. So little unfortunate. Almost had that sick play where we got that return on the switch and then got that quick cap, but didn't quite make it. Regardless, though, throw out that kidney shot onto the enemy FC. We get that sank out of the way from the Rep Pally. Rep Pally seem to be very strong because of that sank, because of that cleave pressure. We have a Rep Pally, they have a Rep Pally. Overall, they're performing very well. If you guys haven't noticed either, a lot of the DPS compositions are very melee-oriented right now. Both teams have double Demon Hunters. Both teams have Rep Pallies. Both teams have Assassination Rogues. They have a DK as well. So we just very melee-oriented team compositions, and then you can have some type of caster like flavor in there. So they have the Ellie Shaman, we have the Ellie Shaman, we could throw in a Boomkin or an Arcane Mage. The Arcane Mage tries once again is kind of what we traded out for that Death Knight spot, and I honestly I think it's okay, but it's definitely difficult as well. Like I don't think Arcane Mage is necessarily the best choice always. But we're running up the ramp right now, trying to connect onto the EFC. Once again, throwing out a lot of slows. So it's not necessarily all about damage. I see a lot of people like, oh, I top damage. How did we lose? You know, it's not necessarily about topping damage every game. It's just throwing out those slows, keeping the enemy team under control, and really just providing that spread pressure when it's needed. Damage is okay. It's not like if you're last on damage, you're like, look, I did no damage. I own. It's like, I'm not saying that either. Damage is definitely very important. But getting out the control, getting the damage off when it's needed, where it's needed is very, very important. So here, we're actually going to connect onto Gooba Stomp, get that mass invisibility, that big Mark of Alunith, get some 4 stacks arcane charges, try to kick the priest, but it actually has fake Blood of Silence into that full polymorph. It is trinketed though, but that's going to be probably a negative ray because Juan, Zar, and Hired Hitman, so it's Rogue, Demon Hunter, Arcane Mage, all connecting onto Gooba Stomp. All they have is a priest here. He throws out the Ray of Hope, but that's going to be super negative because this is Vendetta. This is Arcane Power. This is, I'm not sure if it's Nemesis. Doesn't look like it's Nemesis, but it's just so much damage coming from the Demon Hunter as well. It's most likely going to be negative. That is Nemesis as well. The full blind comes out on the Priest. We make sure to let that sit. And this is really like the key part here, guys. The Priest is CC. It's either Polymorph or a stun or a blind onto the Priest. We're not just blanket doing damage to both of them. We're CCing and killing. This is very deliberate, right? Demon Hunter 10% life, 9% life. He does go down, but the Rep Pally actually does pick it up. And this is a scary moment in the game because it's just like, come on, we should have already capped this. Now they have another healer. The bubble comes out from the Pally because we get enough damage off onto him, and now the DK picks it up. So it's went from Demon Hunter to Pally, now the Death Knight. We need to get better at clicking this darn flag. DK jumps off. I don't want to jump off quite yet because the Priest is still up top a little bit. The Priest can grip the Death Knight back up. So I'm not jumping off quite yet. Looks like the Priest might be jumping soon or gets mind controlled off there. So now we could jump if we need to because we're not scared of that grip anymore. Throw out that orb there. Doesn't quite do what I want it to do. Nick, the DK, doing a great job tanking, but once enough damage connects, he's just going to go down. There's no way a DK should be able to tank this. There's that darkness cooldown. Some arcane missiles hit. That arcane barrage hits. Boom. All of that damage hits at once. We get that return. We get that second cap, and now we're up 2 caps to 0. And that's probably a ball game now that there's only 8 minutes left. And I think the enemy team knows at this point as well. So that was a good game. We definitely could have done a much better job on that first offensive push. We got wiped for pretty much no reason. In general, I liked our strategy. Play the defense, get a couple kills, then push offense. We had a very, very nice offense, very well coordinated. Overall, guys, Warsong is probably my favorite map out of all rated battlegrounds. And I already said rated battlegrounds are my favorite. So this is like so much fun to me. This is so much fun to me. I really, really, really enjoy this type of stuff. But I think at this point, the enemy team is leaving. They are giving up. The enemy team is like, we can't take it anymore. But it was definitely fun facing these guys. I actually play with a lot of these guys on the enemy team sometimes. So sometimes play with them, sometimes play against them. But that's the game, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And guys, if you liked the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you did not like the video, make sure to give it a thumbs down. And I really want to hear your guys' feedback on these rated battlegrounds. Do you guys like them? Do you guys not like them? Do you like it sometimes? Do you like some certain maps? What do you guys want to see? Let me know down below. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.